Hey, welcome to day 335. We're 2 Corinthians and Acts. We're going to spend our time in Corinthians today. 3 points, all done. So let's make this short and sweet, but some powerful things that we're talking about today. All right, let's first of all talk about Satan. In 2 Corinthians chapter 11, we are in verses 14 and 15. It says, "But I am not surprised, even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light." All right, so let's back up a little bit. Verse 12 and 13, "But I will continue doing what I have always done. This will undercut those who are looking for an opportunity to boast that their work is just like ours." So people coming in, false teachers coming in and trying to take the fame and the glory away from Paul. But really, Paul doesn't want the fame and glory. It's all given to Christ. All right? And that's what people just don't get. They don't understand that this is all for Christ. The whole Bible, people, this conversation we're having is all for Christ. All right? I get no credit for this. It is all to Christ. He is the only reason that I do this. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing this. Same thing for Paul. Verse 13. "These people are false apostles. They are deceitful workers who disguise themselves as apostles of Christ." Okay, then we get to our verse. "But I am not surprised, even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light." You got to remember, what is Satan's purpose? Satan's purpose is to deceive. What is Christ's purpose? Christ's purpose is to divide. So God uses Satan to separate those people from the ones who are going to heaven and the ones who are going to be going to their destruction. He uses Christ to do the same thing. And Satan tries to come in and act as God to get an army to come against God. And he knows his time is short. So he's motivated. So he disguises himself as an angel of light. Verse 15, "So it is no wonder that his servants also disguise themselves as servants of righteousness. In the end, they will get the punishment their wicked deeds deserve." So they're going to cause all these problems. It doesn't say he's saving us from what they're trying to deceive us and harm us. It doesn't say he's stopping that from happening. He says they're going to get what they deserve. See, death is a moment, and dying is painful. But death is a moment, and it is not the end for us. We move on. Well, everybody else moves on as well. Some go to everlasting glory, and some go to everlasting destruction. So I wanted to talk about that just because a description of Satan as well. So I added that to my Satan list. All right, now let's talk about Paul being pulled up to heaven, taken up to heaven. So this is kind of like a rapture type of thing. If we look at the old words used to describe this, it is a taking away or taking into heaven. So this is chapter 12, verses 2 and 4. "I was caught up to the third heaven 14 years ago. Whether I was in my body or out of my body, I don't know. Only God knows." Okay, so he's just saying, I was in heaven, and I don't even know if I was in my own body. That part's not important. And he starts to talk about paradise. "But I do know that I was caught up to paradise and heard things so astounding that they cannot be expressed in words. Things no human is allowed to tell." So Daniel was given a vision, and he was told to keep some things a secret. And those were about Christ and what's going to happen. And those things have been revealed to us about Christ coming. And then we also understand the things to come, the revelation that John got of Jesus, which is the book of Revelation, about the end times. So those were all secret things that have been made known to us now. And now we have Paul saying he cannot express in words the things he heard and saw. What an awesome thing to think about that. When we're in heaven, it's not just going to be a little better than our best days here. We can describe our best days. Our days where we laugh so hard it hurts. Our days where there's so much joy when we have a baby, or we see our children do something wonderful and fun. Falling in love. All of that stuff is just a glimpse, a scratch on the surface of how awesome it will be in heaven. And this is what Paul is trying to get us to understand. This is all about what's going to happen as we get closer and closer to the end. More descriptions of heaven. And this is the wonderful thing. I also need to talk about the third heaven thing. This trips so many people up. You got to understand that there are not three different heavens. That mean like, oh, well, I'm better than you. I'm going to go to the second heaven. Well, I'm really better than you. I go to the third heaven. No, that's not what that's talking about. The third heaven is heaven. Okay, we have the heaven, which is our skies. We have the heaven, which is the universe. Those are words to describe those things up above. And we have the third heaven, which is the heaven that Christ and God are in. Okay? So, heaven is heaven. We'll just say that. If we're going to talk about the sky, we'll talk about the sky. We're going to talk about the universe and the stars, we'll talk about that. Okay? And then when we get into Revelations, we're going to talk about the heavens. Will be rolled up like a scroll. There's your perfect example there. The heavens are rolled up like a scroll. If you think about a nuclear weapon going off, the clouds just disperse and they roll out of the way. Okay? Same thing with the stars. The stars will be wiped out. Anyway, that's enough about the heaven name. Okay. Last point. Something that's very important in each and every day, even from back then. In chapter 13, verse 8, it says, "For we cannot oppose the truth." You can't oppose it. The truth is the truth. You can be rebellious. You can scream over people who are talking the truth, and that's what's happening today. But you can't oppose the truth. And Christ is going to come with truth and justice, and they cannot oppose it. But must always stand for the truth. We must always stand for the truth, regardless of what happens. And again, people who stand for the truth are being attacked. All right, that's your day 335. I'll see you tomorrow.